Hello again. I've got another pocket knife, a traditional slip joint of sorts, a rather unusual behemoth of a traditional slip joint, the Rough Rider Baby Sunfish. Now I would like to say, if this is the baby sunfish as listed on Heine, what does the full size model look like? Because this thing is an absolute behemoth of a knife. Now let me just compare it to you against my hand. Look at the size of this monster. Bearing in mind this is a traditional slip joint. This is a rather large traditional slip joint. Now, as I said, made by Rough Rider. Now, I assume this to be a American design of knife because I don't really know where else in the world would come up with such a knife. But Rough Rider being an American company that usually focuses on American designs from probably, I guesstimate, around the 1700s to the early 1900s. But they do produce their knives in China. This one is very well made, and for 20 quid I'd say that's an absolute bargain. I mean, for a higher quality knife like this you're looking at like 120 I think, and good luck finding one of them for sale in the UK. I think those are hard enough to find in the States, never mind anywhere else. Fit and finish on this traditional is actually pretty good. I believe that is a, well, it is a bone handle. From what animal I do not know, I'm just going to assume some sort of species of cow. Nickel silver bolsters. I think those pins are also nickel silver, possibly brass. Nice polish on them. Brass liners. Let's open up the blade and have a look. So there you go. There's the main blade, and again against my hand. In fact, let's do some comparisons here. Of course, my favourite, the Manly Wasp. Now, you see what I'm talking about here by it's an absolute behemoth of a slip joint, a traditional slip joint, and let's compare that against a Victorinox Pioneer, one of the best Swiss Army knives out there. So lengthwise, basically identical to a standard size Swiss Army knife, but the handle is absolutely massive. The blade is pretty thick and wide. Speaking of the blade, in fact, first off, let's compare it to a Zippo, because I know that also helps some of you out there. Whoops, just throw my Zippo across the room. If we have another look at the blade here, that you can see it is 440 steel, 440 stainless, I think. Now that bothers me that it says razor sharp. The other Rough Riders that I have, and you can see this thing's an absolute finger magnet because it's so highly polished. A fingerprint magnet. 440 razor sharp. That's annoying. I mean, as soon as it gets blunt, it's no longer razor sharp, so it just seems silly to have that on there. Other side, we've got the Rough Rider stamp on the tang. I mean, it does come reasonably sharp. Have a look at the other blade. And even this thing is pretty big for a secondary blade. I mean, that's absolutely massive. In fact, let's just compare it against the Zippo here so you can see what I'm talking about. And that's a pretty thick blade. Just open them both up for you just now. So that's what we're dealing with here. Now, I believe the original purpose of a knife like this was to cut rope. Just going by other YouTube videos that I've seen on this style of knife, this was used for cutting rope. I think they would put the blades on the rope and they'd use like a hammer or something, or a mallet, to strike the knife to basically cut it in half. So I think it was used on boats, so it's essentially a sort of boating knife, I think. Now, when I got this, I fully expected this to be an absolute nail breaker. My Rough Rider camp knife is an absolute nail breaker. The only other Rough Rider I have is the cotton sampler, and that's okay. It's not too difficult, it's not too loose. This thing is really easy to open. I mean, the pull on this is probably like a 2. It's that easy. Now, I'm certainly not complaining because this really is not a hard use knife, and I'm glad I can open it easy, because it means I can actually use the thing. I can enjoy it a lot more. Now again, I would like to revisit the fit and finish on this thing, because that is of course very important on a traditional. Not perfect at all, but is extremely well made. If we have a look here, there's only some minor issues with the handle scales when meeting up with the metal on the knife. Overall, 20 quid for that, I would say that's a perfect price. Absolutely fantastic little knife. And to be honest with you, paying 20 quid for this is way better than spending 120 or 150 on a more expensive model, especially if you don't know if you're going to like it, being such an unusual knife. Now I think there's other similar models to this that go by different names that are only slightly different. I think another pattern is a elephant's toe. Don't know what the difference is. I think it's just shorter, and I think possibly it's a bit more symmetrical. Basically, these two sides are pretty much the same. If you notice here, it gets narrower. I guess that's just the design of this knife. I think the other one, the elephant's toe, I think it's pretty much the same size, size on each side. It's an unusual knife nonetheless, but one that I'm very happy to have in my traditional collection. So thanks for watching. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you later on. Goodbye.